What is up, Ludy Bros Army? It is your boys, the Ludy Bros, have come back to you once again. This time we have another fan request. Hey, we love it when you guys, first of all, before we even get into this, we love when you guys get in the comments down below and you give us some content to talk about. We love doing this for the fans. We love talking about this stuff for you guys. And we got a fun one today. Another hypothetical one, but it's a fun one. And it's comparing two teams that you wouldn't necessarily think about. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. We got a request for the 2004 Pistons to match up with the 2015 Golden State Warriors. Now, little bro, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. What do you think with this matchup? Who are you going to rock with? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm going to take the Warriors on this one. This team is a deadly three-point shooting team. It lives on hitting those long-range shots from beyond the arc. Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, the best shooting backcourt in, NBA history, is out there. You also got, Iguodala is on that team coming off the bench, playing some defense. And, you got you got Draymond Green, doing the dirty work, dishing out the ball, getting rebounds, running the floor. It's a quite an interesting team. This would be an interesting matchup to see in real life.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the opposite team because of the simple fact of one guy's missing. His name's Kevin Durant. He wasn't playing there on that 2015 Golden State Warriors team. Now, let's refresh our memories. The Detroit Pistons from 2004, they beat the Lakers. They beat the Lakers who had Kobe Bryant, they had Shaquille O'Neal, they had Karl Malone, and they had Gary Payton, coached by Phil Jackson. They were able to match up with that team and beat them. Arguably at the height of Shaq's powers, he's still he was definitely a prime weapon in the NBA at the time. And you've got a Kobe Bryant who's not the 1997 airball shooting Kobe Bryant. This is a Kobe Bryant who's been in the NBA and he's got some titles under his belt, so he knows what it takes to win. The Pistons beat that team. Now you're going to take them and you're going to match them up with the Golden State Warriors. This is what I think you're going to have. You're going to have a team that locks you down, that can match up with you position for position. Now, as much as Stephen Curry is a shooter and a unanimous MVP and all this stuff, well, you know what? I'm going to take Chauncey Billups in that matchup. And you want to know why? Because he's a big shot. When it comes down to it, when it comes down to those moments, the big moments, Chauncey's going to step up for you and he's going to deliver. The game's going to slow down. The pace of the game is going to slow down. And that's going to hurt the Golden State Warriors, in my opinion. It's going to hurt them, and it's going to allow Detroit to play the grind-them-out style of basketball that they needed to play. When you continue matching up, let's just do the backcourt, since you brought up Klay Thompson. Richard Hamilton was no slouch. For a lot of people, they're not going to know, they might not know about Rip Hamilton, but, that championship Rip, he was no slouch, and he's going to come back, and he's going to do almost exactly what Klay Thompson likes to do to people. He's going to have that done to him. Richard Hamilton could clamp you, and he could score on you from the mid-range back at the other end. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good matchup, in my opinion, with those two teams going back and forth. What's another weapon for the Golden State Warriors that you want to put on the table?
Draymond Green. Draymond Green, man. Loud mouth Draymond.
Okay.
Looking like Donkey from Shrek.
What's Draymond going to do? Tell me what Draymond's going to do.
Well, I mean, he's not a primarily scorer. He'll get his points, off, hustle plays. But, he can direct the offense at times. He can rebound. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Draymond personally, but he does do some things sometimes. I mean, he can try and get under your skin a little bit too, the way he plays and complains too. But he's all right depending on who he's going. If he's going against, I think who you're thinking of, Rasheed Wallace, then he might have some troubles.
I'm thinking of Rasheed, and this is the thing. That Warriors team, they like to talk about Draymond Green as he's the heart of their team. Right? I've heard that. I don't know if you've heard that, little bro. I've
heard it, but
okay. So I've heard him being called the heart of their team. Like you just said, he's going to be matching up with Rasheed Wallace, who played mind games, who was a head case himself. And I'm going to say this, Mr. Draymond Green, he likes to do the tough guy act. He's not going to be doing that tough guy act with Rasheed Wallace or with Ben Wallace. He's not going to be pulling none of those stunts that he likes to pull. kicking in the crotch. He's not going to be playing dirty against those guys because they're not going to let him. They're not going to let him. These are two OG guys, tough guys. They're not going to let him do none of that stuff. So Draymond Green, first of all, I know, me and Little Bro haven't talked much about Draymond Green, but I don't like him. I don't like him as a player. I don't think he plays basketball the way that you should play. I think he's a dirty
I don't care
player.
for him much either.
And I know my Little Bro don't care for him that much either. But you know what? I'm going to say this to play devil's advocate. He was a weapon for those Golden State Warriors team and for that championship. I know that. I can look at basketball objectively. But when you want to match up with the champion and the Pistons were a champion from that year, it's not going to go over well for you. Well, what you going to say?
Well, I mean, to just chime in a bit, the Warriors were a championship of that year too. So,
okay, touche, Little Bro,
yeah.
touche. I like that. I like Rushy in that matchup. I feel that he can do more. He can do what Draymond does, but better. He's gonna be able to hit the three, but you can post him up too. You can run. Draymond Green runs the offense, and this is my opinion on it, Little Bro. You can tell me if you agree, disagree, think I'm right or wrong. But Draymond Green's assist numbers are inflated because of the guys he plays with. Take me. I'm broken down old man. You put me in a jersey next to Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, I'm going to average 6, 7, 8, 9 assists a game just by swinging the ball.
Yeah.
All you got to do is swing the ball with those guys. It's not no playmaking ability. And I just don't understand why so many people today think it's the hot thing to say of Draymond's playmaking when it's simple chest passes and he's moving the ball around the top of the key. So,
he's just in the right place at the right time. That's all you say.
I do agree with you on that. Right place, right time. That's the perfect way to say it. Now, we haven't even really touched on this, and I want to see who are you going to have matching up with Ben Wallace? Who are you going to have?
Well, their center at the time is Andrew Bogut.
Okay.
Which is he was okay. I mean, he's been injury riddled, through much of his career as well. But he could do some things. I mean, he could protect the paint here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what he's there for. He's not, looking to, post you up and, back you down, whatever. He's out there to play defense, grab rebounds, block a few shots. Against Ben Wallace, it'd be interesting. Ben Wallace, I mean, Andrew Bogut has the height advantage.
Right.
Ben Wallace, does similar things. He guards the paint, he rebounds, block shots. He gets a couple alley-oop dunks in there, here and there. Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be a wash.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially.
I could see
because they're similar players.
Right. I could even see. You know what? I'm not going to rip Andrew Bogut too much. He was an injury-riddled guy. His career just had so many injuries that we never got to see the full potential of him. I mean, he was a number 1 draft pick, and we never got to see, how that would work out. Now, I could see this. I could see because Draymond Green was an undersized big at 6'8", and Ben Wallace is 6'9". Rasheed Wallace is very lengthy at 6'11". I could see Bogut being switched over to Rasheed, and I could see Draymond then being switched over to try and do battle with Ben Wallace.
Yeah,
I could see that being the chess match that Steve Kerr tries to play. Now, the thing is, though, is Ben Wallace was such a monster defensively that it didn't matter which of those two guys he matches up with. He's still going to attempt to neutralize and, probably neutralize in a big way either one of those two guys. Now, if you have him matched up with Draymond Green, because Draymond's not doing as much scoring, that actually pulls Ben Wallace and his defensive ability somewhat away from what he would give to the Pistons as a team, their team.
Well, the thing is, Draymond Green is going to play mostly around the perimeter. So I feel like if he's guarding Draymond Green, that's going to pull Ben Wallace away from the basket. So I feel like that would be a disadvantage for the Pistons because I feel like Draymond Green could outquick him, getting to the rim. I could be wrong, but I feel like that would play more into the Golden State Warriors offense of them. If he's out away from the rim, that'll bring more cuts for Thompson, Curry, whoever's out there to the basket. And Rasheed is not a rim defender.
Okay.
In my opinion,
that's fine. Now, this is what I'm going to say about this. Now, aside from Bogut, that Warriors team, they didn't have length. If you really think about it, because their final, well, yeah, let's go down the roster now. Curry is not big.
No.
Klay Thompson is what, 6'7", 6'8", so I mean that's about
6'7",
average
yeah.
height. Now we can go with the finishing lineup because Andre Iguodala was finishing games with them. He might have still been starting at the time, but I think Harrison Barnes was the one who was the starting small forward. Yeah. So we're gonna go with I'll give you Andre Iguodala because he was the one who's finishing the games. Now, a guy that we haven't touched on yet, and this is why I saved this for last because he was kind of the linchpin for the Detroit Pistons teams, was Tayshaun Prince. Now, if you don't want to say Rasheed Wallace is a rim protector at the time, that's fine. Although I do think he could block some shots and alter some shots from those guys. Tayshaun Prince had a 7 foot wingspan, and he's 6'9". He would come from the weak side and he would block shots all the time. He would come from the weak side and he would alter shots all the time. That is, to me, the X factor. Is going to be that matchup between Tayshaun Prince and we can go Andre Iguodala since he's going to be the one who's going to be finishing the games. Now, to me, I feel like at that time, Tayshaun Prince gets the nod over Andre Iguodala. They're very similar roles, very similar. They're filling in a role of being able to do it all, hitting buckets if you need him to, getting those defensive stops if you need him to. But Tayshaun Prince had a motor that wouldn't quit back then. And I really believe that having him to clean up the mess, basically, of whatever the rotation would be, having him to clean up the mess is going to be crucial for the Pistons to go ahead and beat the Warriors if we match them up in a 7-game series.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is, when you go back to your thing about length, they had, what's his name? Sean Livingston on the team. Yeah, he's lengthy. He's got some length, and, it just depends on how Golden State is going to want to do it. Are they going to want to go to, their 5-out, spread where they have Draymond at the 5. They'll probably maybe have Sean Livingston in there, Iguodala, Curry, Thompson. It depends on what their game plan is going to be. Are they going to, stick with a traditional lineup? Are they going to sacrifice, rebounding and, interior defense for perimeter, shooting? Or are they going to, stick to the traditional, big for, Bogut, Draymond, and Iguodala, Curry, and Thompson. It just depends on what Steve Kerr is going to have to figure out the best possible game plan against that team. But I hear you on the Tayshaun Prince. He was grabbing shots out of the sky during his time. So it'd be interesting, but I just think that the perimeter shooting, it just depends, because Curry and Thompson can be on and off at times, or one can be on and one can be off. But if they can sustain it for because they can go just on a run where they're just hitting threes out of the air. If they can sustain that through just a few games here and there, then I feel like they could come out with a win.
Okay. You know what? I'll give you that. I like that you brought that up, and then I'll close this out. The thing is that defense wins championships, and that Pistons team is historically one of the best defensive squads that we could have. Now, if this was a Warriors team that had Kevin Durant, if this team had Kevin Durant, the Pistons wouldn't have a chance. No. But since they don't have Durant, and we're talking about, like we just said, Draymond Green is going to be playing you a lot of minutes with Andre Iguodala, and the scoring load falling on Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry, you're not going to be able to beat a team that is so locked in defensively the same way that, the way that the Pistons were in 2004. They were locked in, and for those 3 seasons, because the Pistons had about a 3-year run there where they were the cream of the crop in the East. They were locked in defensively from top to bottom. And even coming off the bench, they had guys like Antonio McDyess. They're bringing Carlos Arroyo. They're bringing these guys off the bench. And we haven't talked about, we mentioned Steve Kerr, but we didn't mention Larry Brown yet.
Yeah.
He had those guys dialed in and ready to play night in and night out. And I just, around that same time frame, they were beating Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat the Lakers for the championship, and they went 7 games with the Lakers. With the Spurs. They went 7 games with the Spurs. And that was a letting Manu Ginobili get open. Rasheed Wallace brain farts and steps away and lets him get open and he hits a three, and Robert Horry hits another three, and they end up losing. And otherwise, we might be talking about two-time champion Detroit Pistons. You know, so I think that defensive lockdown of a historically great team with that coach and those caliber of players who are dialed in at the right moment at the right time, I think that's going to be what separates you. Now, all said and done, if you have KD, it's a wrap. But we weren't asked to review that team. We were asked to review this 2015 Warriors team without KD.
Right.
So that's my final thought on it. Hey guys, Ludy Bros Army, get down in the comments below. This was an interesting matchup. We don't always want to do the LeBron and versus Kawhi matchup. Let's get some other matchups. Let's go. So let's generate some stuff down in the comments below. Hit us up down there and let us know what you guys think. Lil Bro, why don't you go ahead and get us out of here? Get us out after this video.
All right, Ludy Bros fans, Ludy Bros Army. Let us know. Hey, if you have another topic for debate, hit us up in the comments. Like we said, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for more Ludy Bros content, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.